Nice to see you smiling, because the last time it was not a good night. Just in terms of this squad, I'll get to the young faces, but obviously a headline is that Aaron Ramsey hasn't been selected. Can you tell us the reasons why? Because some people might be going, oh, is that the last we're going to see of Aaron Ramsey in a Welsh shirt?
No, not at all. It was a joint conversation, and I think Aaron wants to use this opportunity to get himself in a position from a fitness perspective that gives him a great opportunity to do a full pre-season and then hit the ground running next season domestically. So that was the thinking behind it. I completely agree with it. I think it makes complete sense to do it instead of coming away and pushing himself to play minutes in 2 friendlies. I think it's more important for him to get his body in a position where he can be a bit more robust and sustain what's going to be needed in pre-season.
That's a decision made for playing in Cardiff City now for the next season. In terms of his usefulness for you and for Wales, you have to do things in blocks, I suppose, whether it's a Nations League campaign, qualification for the next major championship, the World Cup. Does this mean the conversation you had that Aaron Ramsey is going to be available through to the qualifying for the World Cup and hopefully a World Cup appearance in the US, Mexico, Canada?
Well, who knows? We're going to need to see how he gets on in pre-season from a fitness point of view. Look, it's well documented. He struggled with his fitness last year, and there was nobody more frustrated than Aaron. So, and myself, because we would have wanted him really coming into a camp in March in the playoffs, fighting fit, and we didn't have that. So that was frustrating for all of us. But look, if he's fit and he's playing and he's doing well and he's been able to play the 2 games a week that we would like him to, then he'd be selected.
Or in terms of, you mentioned there obviously fitness, body, you've got to see how that works, but in terms of mentality, his desire, the conversations you've had with him, do you believe he'll be in a Welsh shirt again and for hopefully through to a successful World Cup campaign? Well,
again, only Aaron can answer that question, but I don't see there's no alarms raised for me whatsoever. I haven't had the conversations with him. He's still passionate about playing football. He's just as passionate now as what he was 5 years ago when I first come across him. So, yeah, there's no issues for that. He's still passionate about the game he plays, and he'll give it everything.
Can I just ask you a couple of other injuries? Obviously, no Wayne Hennessy.
Yeah.
No Nico Williams, obviously, as well. Ben Davies is in the squad, but he looked to have a serious kind of injury that he picked up at Tottenham. Can you just run us through some of the injuries you got to some of your more senior players?
Yeah, so Harry Wilson has got an injury that's kept him out. And again, I spoke a couple of weeks back about the importance of working with the clubs on this as well, and weighing up the balance of the importance of pushing them after a tough, long season, by the way. The importance of bringing them away to play 2 friendlies when really rest might be more beneficial, especially with the injuries that some of the lads have picked up. And then we know then, come September, that we've got a 100% fit Harry Wilson, providing he gets through pre-season. We can't foresee that. But and then Brooksy picked up his shoulder injury in the playoff final. So there's complications with that. So again, he's out of the 2 games. Ben Davies is injured, but he wants to come on camp. Chris Mepham has got an injury, but again, he wants to come on camp. We planned for an EFL camp 2 weeks ago, and we had to cancel it because there's so many of the lads that were planning for that camp got through to the playoffs, Finn's being one of them, and then obviously the Leeds boys and Brooksy. So we cancelled that camp, but again, 2 players in Regan Poole and Joe Morrell wanted to join up on camp. So, we've got 2 or 3 players on the camp at the minute, not being able to play, but want to be a part of it, and that's really important for us moving forward, Gary.
Just on the playoff final, can you if you had any update on David Brooks' injury and also the Leeds players, because you've got 5 in the squad in total with Charlie Crew involved as well now. I don't know if you had any conversation, say with Ethan or Dan, just the disappointment they're probably feeling right now.
Yeah, of course, yeah. There will be conversations. I've let them have their time to themselves. It's been a long season for them. I think somebody told me a stat the other day, Ethan's played the most minutes out of any European footballer this season, which is an incredible stat. So we're going to have to manage his minutes and manage him well. There will be conversations now between both medical teams, and we'll know in due course whether they're going to be fit enough. But at the moment in time, they're all right to come with us.
And just quick, David Brooks on the seriousness of the injury.
Well, it was a shoulder injury. I think we could all see he was visibly upset, because I think he knew that there was going to be something quite severe with it. I think we're just waiting on another opinion from a doctor, but it's a shoulder injury that will put him out of both games.
I said I'd ask you about new faces. the standard one is somebody that actually you've talked to us about quite a lot, about your excitement of bringing him into a camp and being able to use him. Lewis Kumas.
Yeah.
Obviously, for those of us of a certain age, we know his dad.
Yeah, I played with his dad. Yeah.
In terms of where do you see somebody like him progressing with the talent that you've seen as a youngster in towards senior football now?
Well, domestically, who knows? It's nice when I see young players show potential. He's shown his potential at Liverpool. He's played first-team games. He scored goals at first-team level. He's done really well. Now, it's down to the development of Lewis from a domestic point of view with regards to what level he can go and play football. Some of the young players that we've brought in, you'll see from a physical point of view, they need developing. They need maturity. And they get that by going out and playing domestic games, absolutely. He's shown talent. I'm in close contact with Matty, as you know, the great relationship with Matty, and we speak constantly about him. I was at the game where he made his debut for the 21s and scored the goal, and it wasn't an easy finish. I was really impressed with him. He's a goal scorer. He's got an eye for goal, and I'm excited to be working with him.
Sorry, I just want to pick up on that answer. Does that suggest what you're saying there is that, again, you've made no secret about your desire when you've had conversations with players, go and get loan, go and get some football. Is that something that Lewis Kumas, that maybe for the time being it might be better if he were to go out on loan away from Liverpool, or is Liverpool with the new manager coming in there the ideal place for him to be at this moment?
Well, I would suggest to any young player, do a pre-season and then get a feel for where you're at, and if you're going to be involved with the first team, then there's your answer. I use Nathan Broadhead as an example. So we talk about transition, we talk about giving players an opportunity to play at the top level and from Wales then benefiting for that. Brodie and Wes Burns are two great examples. Just got promoted to the Premiership with Ipswich. 2 years ago, one was at Fleetwood, the other one was at Everton's under-23s. The minute Brodie leaves the under-23s and goes and has a couple of loan moves, he then gets a move to Ipswich. His performances have gone to another level. Just over a year ago, he makes his debut for us and scores against Croatia away. We'll now reap the rewards of the experience he's had in the last 12 months. So we'll become better having had and Nathan Broadhead go through those experiences. So for me, having seen what Brodie's gone through leaving under-23s has made him a better player. So I would recommend any young player to consider those options. Yeah. Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Just on Aaron, is he going to travel with you at all? Is he going to be a part of the camp, or are you just leaving him to get fully concentrate on getting ready for pre-season?
Yeah, no, we've left him completely, and that was a joint conversation. I think he wants to throw full focus and take charge of his own sort of rehabilitation and fitness.
I mean, it must have been really hard for him last season, playing so few games.
Yeah.
But the way you're talking, that desire, particularly to it was a move he wanted back to his club. That desire, that fire still burns brightly with him.
Absolutely, yeah. When I had a conversation with him, you could tell, he's just as passionate today as what he was 5-10 years ago about football. He loves the game. He lives for it. And there's no questions about that whatsoever. He's given himself the best opportunity to continue playing.
What about Wayne Hennessy? What situation is he in now?
Well, it's been publicised, hasn't it? That Wayne's left the club and he'll now be looking at the future and what that holds for him. It's a significant injury. It's not a quick fix. It's not going to be a month turnaround. You look at an injury like that, at a senior player, you're looking at months, not weeks. So at the right time, I'll have a conversation with him. I think the world of Wayne. Everybody knows that. I've had him in every squad, and I'll have a conversation with him within the next few days before we go on camp and see where his head's at.
Do you think he wants to? I mean, the chances are he'll want to find a club somewhere, but it's difficult if you're injured.
Well, that takes charge of it, doesn't it? He can't find a club if he's injured at this moment in time. So I think his focus will be on getting himself fit, getting himself in a position where, if he wants to continue playing, that he can do so.
Because of all the positions, the goalkeeper's been a sort of problem in that you're relying on Danny Wood, who's hardly playing for Leicester.
No, that's right. It has. It's been, again, it's been really difficult for us that we've never had a goalkeeper that's playing consistently. So that's something that we'll address, we'll have a look at. When I took over the job 6-7 years ago with the 21s, I wanted then a full-time goalkeeper coach, let's say, to help develop these and go and find these young goalkeepers. So that's something that we're looking into.
Could that happen, do you think, before the start of the Nations League? And what would that bring?
Potentially, we're looking as an association. We're looking to do that. It's such a specialised position, Rob, as well. You know, the days are gone now where I'll have an opinion on goalkeeping, of course, but I'm not going to be disrespectful to tell a keeper what to do or how to you know, what hand to dive with. And you know, I've got an understanding of goalkeepers. I've played for long enough, but to the detail of what I listened to Tony Roberts talk about, it's a specialised position. So we need that. If we're an association moving forward, we need that. And I've been back with it, absolutely. So within the next few weeks, I'm sure we'll move forward with it again.
Right. You picked some youngsters. Obviously, Charlie Crew has been really quickly promoted.
Yeah.
You clearly see something in him.
He's a player. Charlie's an absolute player. And I think it's a perfect opportunity. Look, we're all disappointed we didn't qualify for the Euros. So would he have been selected in the squad to go to the Euros? Probably not. I would have, you know, allowed him to develop nicely with the younger age groups. But now, the potential he's shown at Leeds to be involved in that group of players, listening to the manager, how he speaks about him, having seen him myself, speak to the Matty and Rich Williams and the younger coaches, he's got talent in abundance. Physically, he needs to develop, and that will come. So we'll be patient with him with that. But it's a no-brainer for me. I'm taking him away with us to expose him to the first team lads, to the culture, and he'll be better in the next few weeks having gone through that. Like we did with Brennan in the Nations League a couple of years back. Playing against Holland, playing against Belgium has helped him become the player he is today. And we want to do the same with the younger players.
And last one for me. Would you have liked to have picked even more youngsters? But you've got to bear in mind, you talked to me last week about keeping a winning mentality. I mean, you know, you get judged on results no matter what, the circumstances. So where was the balance with that today? Would you have liked more youngsters in the squad, but you thought, no, I've got to keep a spine of experienced players, or what?
Yeah, look, you'll see when we I've got a team in my head roughly what we're going to play in the first game and then what we're going to play in the second game. So it'll be great to give those players the experience to play. But you're right, you know, I want to drip feed the players in. I don't want to make wholesale changes and bring a large group of young players in, because the environment's key as well, and the senior players that we have in that environment are key to that, and showing the young players what it means to represent Wales. So yeah, sympathetically we'll do it. So
Lawrence?
Yeah, hiya Rob.
Hi, Lawrence.
So look, going into these two games, what do you want to get out of them in terms of, I mean, you've talked about maybe it's not ideal games, but what do you as a coach want to get out of them?
I want to get the group back together again and talk about the importance of what we've nearly achieved in the Euros. That group of players were, like I said, a penalty kick away from qualifying for another major tournament. So we build on it. We're not letting the disappointment of that affect us in a negative way. We learn from it. We build on it. So to get that group of players back together again is important for us. Gibraltar game is an opportunity for me to expose the young players to it. That's a benefit, and they'll be a part of the environment, how we train, how we play, how we like to play with and without the ball. They'll be exposed to that. So there's lots of benefits from the games, and then the Slovakia game there'll be a different 11, and that'll be with one eye then on September already, because I don't have another camp until September. So the work we do against Slovakia will be looking forward to the Turkey game in September.
And given sort of what happened with the Euros and the fans that'll be travelling away for the games, I mean, do you feel you need to rebuild a bit of trust with the fans as well going into these two games?
You wouldn't have thought walking from the car park here today. There's been incredible. You know, the support we've had today, hasn't it, AJ? It's been so well. It's been brilliant. It's been amazing. So look, I can only do what I can do. I'm giving it absolutely everything I've got. We're a penalty kick away from you know, and I thought we were the better team on the night against Poland, absolutely. So we're disappointed, but I know the job I've got in front of me, and it was never going to be an easy one. We're never just going to be given an opportunity to play in the Euros. You've got to work hard for it. We'll learn from that, and we go again in September, and that's all I can keep doing, giving it my best.
Okay.